Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in. You are tuned into The Encourager, and my name is Nehru. We are going to get going again with the Book of Enoch. And again, took the Mercury retrograde off, and really that was a spiritual strategy given to me by Most High to starve the enemy, the karmic energy that's the doppelganger. So starve them, don't give them material to go and copy to put on their page and all of that sort of thing. Don't give them anything to talk about. So for throughout the Mercury retrograde, I think my last post was on the 5th, and I did not post for the rest of the Mercury retrograde, right? I feel a sneeze coming, but it hasn't arrived. So, so let's go ahead and get started. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well on this Sunday, the 28th of April. Okay. And so we are picking up in the Book of Enoch in the 82nd chapter. Okay. And so for those of us very quickly who are catching up. So Enoch is also Metatron. So if you ever heard of the Archangel Metatron, that is Enoch. So when Enoch died, he did not die, he ascended. And that is recorded. He ascended. And so in this book of Enoch, he is taking us through his journey, his ascensions, his level ups, if you will, through the various dimensions and what he has been privileged to see. Okay, both Most High Spirit, he's been privileged to see the sun portal, the moon portal, the many stars, those portals, Earth's portals, both 3D, 5D, 8D. He's been to many different places. The past, right? He's been to. And so again, we can travel to these places energetically, esoterically. We can travel back to these places or forward to these places. Okay. We do this through our crown chakra, through our third eye, through alignment of our energy to its truth. Okay. And we all have our own individual truth. Okay. For one, in this lifetime, I know many who have gone this lifetime and married couples. They're married 30 plus years and they never bore children physically. The wife never gave birth. Okay. I know several couples today. In one situation, the wife, the bride, has passed, at least in one of those situations that I know for sure. But so, and not every lifetime is it meant for someone to be married, or is that fulfilling for them? Not every lifetime is kids in the equation. So again, ultimately there's one truth, and that truth is just that there is just one, and we are all that. And the truth is within you. That's already two truths. But those are core foundational truths. You must embrace those two if you want to elevate, ascend, get out of the rat race, the matrix. If you want to ascend out of the 3D, if you want to be fulfill your purpose here, but not be of the world, you have to get into that mindset. Okay. You have to get there. And so Enoch is going through that experience, through his various awakenings, spiritual ascensions. Okay. So, background. So he's been through the journey with Noah, or he's seen how that has come about. He has seen, Methuselah, who he's also related to. So Enoch is related to Methuselah and Noah. And so, yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, we've covered 81 chapters. So there's a lot in those 81 chapters that is in a playlist. Okay. Or that is a playlist that I've created. So if you want to read about or hear about the earlier chapters in the Book of Enoch, please feel free to go to that playlist. Okay. And I will be adding the readings going forward to that playlist. Okay, 82nd chapter. And now, my son, Methuselah, all things I relate to thee and write for thee. Methuselah is Noah's grandfather. Methuselah is the oldest living being to walk on this earth in the flesh. He lived to be 969 years old. Methuselah was also the end to longevity on this planet for man because of man's indiscretions, promiscuities, witchcraft, whatever, secret societies, need to control, need to be in charge, need to be karmic. Okay? And so, Most High said, at the flood, Methuselah's death ushered in the flood. Okay? It took Noah 100 years to build the ship. People think it was done in like a couple of days or something. It took Noah 100 years to build the ship. Noah lived to be 930 years old. After he was 800 years old, he had more kids. Just saying. So anyway, so longevity was very different back then. Okay. All these things I relate to thee, and I write for thee, and I have revealed to thee everything, and have given thee books concerning them all. Preserve, my son Methuselah, the books from the hand of thy father, and give them to the generations of the world. Wisdom I have given thee, and thy children, and those who will be thy children, and they that give to their children, the generations to eternity, namely this wisdom above their thoughts. This is what we are doing here today as a collective. We are delivering this wisdom to the generations of the generations to eternity, from children to children to children to children, our children's 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 children. That is what the collective is doing today. Going back into the Akashic records, accessing the books that the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, secret societies have removed over centuries from the Bible or changed in order to make it a program, 66 books, and not the hundreds of books that you really truly need in order to understand exactly who you are. And you are extraterrestrial. You are supernatural. The movies and things that are made, Steven Spielberg, and they don't come up with these movies out of their ass. Michael Jackson said, how do you get, Michael Jackson, when asked, how do you get your lyrics? Where do you get your moves, your dances, your lyrics, your where do you get this from? He said, God gives them to me when I'm sleeping. That's what the fucking King of Pop said, people. That's what the King of Pop said. So, we share these wisdoms with the people. And those who understand them, verse 3, it will not sleep, but will hear with their ears, that they may learn this wisdom, and will please those who eat of it more than good food. I consider myself a pretty good cook. It's even better than my ribs. It's even better than my barbecue. It's even better than my barbecue sauce. I make a very, very good barbecue sauce. It's better than my bacon, macaroni, and cheese. I make a very, very good bacon, macaroni, 5 cheese. It's better than my lasagna. I make a very, very, very good lasagna. It's better than my steaks. I can do a steak up deliciously. It's better than all of that. Okay? Most High's truth is better than any food. Yeshua said, come to me and I will give you water that you will thirst no more. Okay? Happy are all the just. Happy all those who walk in the paths of justice and have no sin, like the sinners or the karmics. They are not karmic. That word sin needs to be changed out for karmic. I bet it was. In the counting of all their days, in which the sun goes through the heavens, entering and departing from the gates, each time 30 times, together with the heads of the thousands of the order of the stars. See, we're talking about days and calendars and rising of the sun and the moon and celestial cycles. We're talking about Mercury retrogrades that we just ended. We're talking about these movements and these divine cycles and divine timing. So you pray for something and you wonder why it doesn't happen when you know that it's meant. Maybe you saw it, maybe you had a dream, maybe you got a download from Most High and you're wondering where it's at. Do you understand that in order, when Most High says all things work together for your good, do you realize that this is what this has come to mean to me? It means that when Pluto, oh man, come on, fifth dimension, help me out. When Jupiter is in this, aligns with Mars. Wait. I'm trying to think of the fifth dimension song, Age of Aquarius. I only know the latter part, and that is Let the Sun Shine In, which is an amazing song. I don't know, that's like a theme song for waking up or something for me. But anyway, when the moon is in its 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and peace will guide the planets, and love will stir the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? I'm glad. Thank you, Most High, for bringing those words to me. And so I listened to the song enough. I just couldn't remember the beginning of it in the moment, I guess. So yes, that is what it's all about. Okay. We are 5th verse. And on their account, men will be at fault and will not count them in the reckoning of the whole world. But men will be mistaken and will not know them exactly. For they belong to the reckoning of the year and are exactly marked forever. This is why nothing can return void. It's marked exactly forever. One in the 1st portal, and one in the 3rd, and one in the 4th, and one in the 6th, and the year is completed in 364 days. So Enoch is getting downloads on the calendar and the stars and how all these things have come to be. Why do we have 364 days in a year? Why is this star aligned like this? What is the Big Dipper? What is the Little Dipper? Where is Jupiter and Mars and Saturn, and how these things line up? And in divine timing, then they bring things together in certain cycles and synchronicities. And do you see where it's all going? Do you see? Are you getting a picture? Okay. And the account of it is true, and the marked reckoning exact. The luminaries. I am part of the Lemuria people. The luminaries and the months and the festivals and the years have been shown and given to me by Uriel. Uriel is an archangel, to whom the Lord of all creation had given command in reference to me of the host of the heavens. And he has power over night and day in the heavens, that he may show light over men, the sun and the moon and the stars and all the powers of heaven, which turn in their circuit. Verse 9. And this is the order of the stars that set in the places and in their times and in their festivals and in their mouths. And these are the names of those who lead them, watch that they enter in their times and in their order and in their occasions and in their months and in their powers and in their positions. Verse 11. Their 4 leaders who divide the 4 portions of the year, each first. So how many quarters are there in a year? After them, the 12 leaders of the orders who separate the months and the years into 364 days, together with the heads of the thousands who divide the days for the... It said thousands divide the days. For the 4 intercalary days, these are the leaders who separate the 4 parts of the years. And, verse 12, of those heads of the thousands, one is placed between the leader and the led, back of the position. But their leader divides. Scrolling. And these are the names of the leaders who separate the 4 parts of the year, which are ordained. Melchiel, Helimelech, and Melijal, and Neral. And the names of those they lead: Adnaral, Iasusal, and Alumiel. These 3 follow after the leaders of the orders, and one follows after the 3 leaders of the orders, who follow after those leaders of positions who separate the 4 portions of the year. Okay, so it's just order. The platoon sergeant is in charge of the squad leaders. The squad leaders are in charge of the squad members. The first sergeant, commander, drill sergeant, whoever happens to be, they're in charge of the platoon sergeant, and so on and so forth. Okay, just military reference. Okay, so, and it's just order. That's all that's being explained to us here in this passage. Okay. Verse 15. In the commencement of the year, Melchijal rises first and rules. He is also called Tamani, and that is Tamaani, and son. And all the days of his government that he rules are 91 days. I believe that's referencing like summertime or like hot time or something, I think. We'll see. And these are the signs of the days which are seen on the earth in the days of his government: sweat and heat and anxiety, and all the 3 producing fruit and leaves. Yes, and that's exactly what I thought it was talking about. So it's talking about the seasons. So these rulers, right, or these years, as they're called, these 4: winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall. That is 4. We're talking about 4. They're the 4 seasons that rule the year, that bring about heat, cold, frost, sweat, freezing. They all have their own purpose. Again, okay? All right. Blossoming fruit, blooming trees, roses. That's what this one is for. And these are the names of the leaders who are under them: Berkiel, Zabiel, and one other who is added, a head of 1,000, called Helosaph. And ended are the days of the power of this one. The other leader who is after them is Helimelech, whom they call the shining sun, and the days of his light are 91 days. And these are the signs of the days of the earth: burning heat, dryness, and trees bringing their fruit to ripeness and completion, and sheepmate, and becoming pregnant, and the fruit of the earth. Do you see what's going on here? Right? So we're going through the different cycles, and Enoch is getting downloads on how these things happen. They are portals, and there are angels, there are energies that are assigned to make these processes happen. Okay, science tells you that when you put a seed in the ground, it grows, and that is called production. I don't know because I don't know what plant people are called. And I'm not an herbalist, although I learn about oils and things like that, and bees and stuff like that, right? So it's best to eat the honey that's grown locally from where you are, as opposed to store-bought honey. Okay, if you can find someone who's producing honey where you are, especially if you deal with allergies, because that's going to help you, because bees and the pollen and all of that stuff, it's going to help you for the area that you're in, for the area of the country or world that you're in. Okay? So, verse 20. These are the names and the orders of the subordinate leaders to those of the thousands. Gidel and Keel and Heel, and the names of the head of 1,000, which is added to them, Asphael, and completed are the days of his power, or the end of that season. Okay, let's keep going. We are now finished with chapter 82, and we are now on to section 16. They have sections named, and we are going to chapter 83. And so now, my son Methuselah, I will show thee all the visions that I have seen, relating them before thee. 2 visions I saw before I took a wife, and the one of them was similar to the other, the first time when I was learning to write. The second time, before I took my mother, I saw an awful vision. Or before I took thy mother, I saw an awful vision. And on their account I petitioned to the Lord. As I was reposing in the house of Melilel, my grandfather, I saw there in a vision that the heavens were lowered and disappeared and fell on the earth. And as it fell on the earth, I saw the earth, that it was devoured in a great abyss, and the mountains descended on the mountains, and the hills sank upon hills. Okay, so that goes to show you that this has happened before. So hills on hills, that goes to show you that there is a world that is submerged below what you and I currently exist in. Whether that world is occupied or not, there was a world that now exists under the world that you and I now live on or walk on, the earth. If you don't understand Atlantis, if you don't understand that there are places that are under... Okay. Okay. So, and verse 4 of chapter 83. And as it fell on the earth, I saw the earth, that it was devoured in a great abyss, and the mountains descended upon the mountains, and the hills sank upon hills, and high trees were torn from the trunks, and fell down and sank into the abyss. And on account of this speech fell into my mouth. And I began to cry out and say, the earth is destroyed. And Melilel, my grandfather, aroused me as I was reposing near him, and said to me, why dost thou cry so, my son, and why dost thou lament so? And I related to him the whole vision which I had seen, and he said to me, a terrible thing thou hast seen, my son, and the power of the vision of thy dream is concerning the secrets of all the sins of the earth. It will be about to descend into the abyss and be destroyed terribly. And now, my son, arise and petition the Lord of glory, since thou art a believer, that a remnant may remain on earth, and all the earth be not destroyed. My son, from heaven all this will come on the earth, and over the earth there will be a great destruction. And, verse 10, after that I arose and prayed and petitioned and wrote down my prayer for the generations of the world. And I will show thee everything, my son, Methuselah. And as I went out below and looked at the heavens, and the sun rising in the east, and the moon descending in the west, and some few stars, and everything as he had known it from the first, I blessed the Lord of the judgment, and to him I gave greatness, because he had led forth the sun from the windows of the east, and he ascends and rises on the surface of the heavens, and elevates himself, and goes the path which is shown to him. I want to speak a word over the leadership of this world. So we're all familiar, many of us, most of us, are familiar with a lot of the tomfoolery going on around the world. Okay? It doesn't matter the source. What you have to understand, and again, this is a point that I'm bringing home and a point that Most High brought to my attention more so and wants me to continue to mention moving forward. And that is, we have to understand what this 3D matrix is. This place that we call Earth, planet Earth, the world, is nothing more than another spiritual battleground, like the 4D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, 12D. It is just another battleground. So, don't look at Trump as Donald Trump being bad. Don't look at Joe Biden as Joe Biden being bad. Don't look at them that way. Okay? Don't look at the political leaders and communist leaders or what regimes and all. Don't look at these as the individual. Don't look at them as their legal name as you know them or as you see them in the news. Don't look at them as Beyonce. Don't look at them as Quincy Jones. Don't look at them like that. You need to take a couple of steps back and look at them from a spiritual perspective and see them as karmic demons that they are. Witchcraft workers that they are, whether those individuals are or not. I'm saying that because those are individuals that the majority of the world knows names of. Everybody in the entertainment industry knows who Quincy Jones is. Everybody around the world, 85% of the world knows who Beyonce is. Okay? Tribes that are hidden from us, we have not located or remain isolated. Those they don't know about her, but that's a small percentage of the world today. Most of the world is revolutionized, so they think. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going here. Okay. And I went out, looked heavens rising. Okay. Oh, okay. So I was done with chapter 83. Sorry. Okay. Chapter 84. Some of these chapters are literally a verse long, so don't be disgruntled or don't be discouraged. That's the word. Don't be discouraged. Somebody might be disgruntled. Don't be discouraged about if you go in, you want to take a look and read the books for yourself. Don't be discouraged about how long they are, because many of them are very, very short chapters. And I raised my hands in justice, chapter 84, and blessed the Holy One and the Great One. That's Ptah, my Lord. That is the Great One. That is the original creator. And I raised my hands in justice and blessed the Holy One and the Great One. And I spoke with the breath of my mouth and with the tongue of flesh, which God has made for the children of men, that they should speak with it, and give them breath and the tongue and the mouth, that they might speak therewith. Blessed art thou, O Lord, King both great and powerful in thy greatness, the Lord of all creation of heaven, King of kings and God of all the world. Thy godship and thy kingdom and thy greatness will remain in eternity, and to all eternity and to all generations. Thy power and all the heavens are thy throne in eternity, and all the earth thy footstool in eternity and to all eternity. And I've given thought a lot recently about earth being Most High's footstool and what that means. So if you want to wash Most High's feet, take care of the planet. You read about in that book that man has raped, that you call the Bible. We read about how Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. If you want to wash Most High's feet, spend time in nature. You want to know why animals are so empathic? You want to know why animals can pick up on someone's energy, especially a dog? Let's talk about dogs. Can pick up on someone's energy so fast. Do you know why? Because they have 4 paws and they are always in contact with Mother Earth. This is why animals are the way that they are. Okay? They can be the most docile and gentle creatures ever and yet so violent because their balance comes from Mother Earth, comes from Gaia. I am a beacon of Gaia. Comes from Gaia. That's why. They are always in connection and contact with the earth. This is why it's so important for man to ground, to spend time in nature, lay outside in the grass, walk in the grass with no shoes on, lay whatever, right? You need to do that. Plant a garden. Go spend time at a garden if you can't plant one at your house. Okay? You need to do that. All right? So, verse 3. For thou hast made and dost govern all things, and nothing is too difficult for thee. And no wisdom escapes thee. She does not turn away from her throne, thy throne, and not from thy face. And thou dost not know and see, or thou dost know and see and hear all things, and there is nothing that is hidden before thee. For thou dost see all things. Let me tell you something, karmics and those who are faithful, high-vibing individuals. Let me tell you, Most High is the fly on the wall. He is in the rooms where your name has been mentioned through the mouths of the liar and the deceiver and the witchcraft worker, the evil eye sender, the warlock. He has been in those rooms. This is why Most High is coming to judgment for his children, for his sons and daughters. This is why. Because he has been in places that you will never enter. You couldn't get there. You weren't invited, but they were talking about you in these private rooms. Okay? In these cars, in these offices, in these churches, in these hospitals, in these labs. They're talking about you because you are great and mighty and you are coming into your own and they know it. Verse 4, and now the angels of thy heavens do sin, and thy wrath is over the flesh of men to the day of great judgment. And now God and Lord and great King, and angels do sin, by the way. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Lucifer is an angel. That there may remain to me a posterity on earth, and that thou wouldest not annihilate all the flesh of men, and not make empty the whole earth, and there be an everlasting destruction. And now, my Lord, annihilate from the earth the flesh which has angered thee. You don't think Most High gets angry? But the flesh of justice and of rectitude, established as a plant of the seed to eternity, and do not hide thy face from the prayer of thy servant, O Lord. So he's crying out, please do not destroy the entire. You know something? I think it's very interesting. Every spiritual leader that I've read about in a book, at some point in time, has gone to the Father and cried out for the people that they are leading. Don't destroy them. Don't kill them. Don't. Is there just one? Is there 100? Nope, there's not 100. Okay, is there 50 that are faithful? Most High was like, okay, let's see if they're faithful. If there are 50 people faithful, I will spare them. Nope, there's not 50. Let's see if there's 30. Nope, there's not 30. Let's see if there's 10. Nope, there's not 10. Let's see if there's not 5. Nope, there's just one. Who? You. You're the only one. So I'm going to save you, and I'm going to get rid of everybody else. That's what he told Noah. Okay. So, and that's not the only time. So it's very, 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 very interesting to me how just divine processes, they're just very intriguing to me. So chapter 85. After this, I saw another dream, and I will show thee all, my son. And Enoch began and said to his son Methuselah. Okay, so you see this. So Enoch to Methuselah, he's writing these letters, leaving these letters to Methuselah, leaving these dreams to Methuselah, talking to Methuselah, his son. From Enoch, who is Metatron, to Methuselah, to Noah. Okay, so to thee, my son, I will speak. Hear my words, and lend thy ear to the vision of the dream of thy father. Before I took thy mother Edna, I saw in a vision on a couch, and behold, a bullock came out of the earth, and this bullock was white. And after him there came a female of the same species, and together with this one came other cattle. One of them was black and one red. That black one horned the red one, and followed it over the earth, and then could no longer see the red one. And the black one grew, and a cow came with it, and I saw that many cattle like it and followed it, came from it. And that cow, the first one, came from the presence of the first bullock, seeing that red one, and did not find it, and then raised a great cry and hunted it. And verse 7, and I looked until the first bullock came to her and quieted her. And from that time she did not cry aloud. And after that she brought forth another white bullock, and after that she brought forth many bullocks and black cows. And I saw in my sleep the white bullock grow and become a large white bullock, and from him came many white bullocks, and they were similar to him. And they commenced and begat many bullocks, and these were similar to them, and one followed the other. And that's the end of chapter 85. Chapter 86. And again I saw with my eyes while I was sleeping, and I saw the heavens, and behold, above, and behold, one star fell from heaven, and arose, and ate and pastured among those bullocks. And after that I saw the large and black bullocks, and behold, all changed their stalls and their pastures and their cattle, and began to lament one with the other. And I saw again in the vision, and I looked at the heavens, and behold, I saw many stars, and they fell from heaven, and were thrown from heaven near that first star, and among those cattle and bullock were there, they were with them, pasturing among them. And I looked, and behold, they all let out sexual members like horses, and began to mount the cows. So what are sexual members like horses? Yeah. Those, yeah, like penises. And began to mount the cows of the bullocks, and these all became pregnant, and brought forth elephants, and camels, and asses, and all the bullocks feared them, and were frightened at them, and they commenced to bite with their teeth, and to, do you see what this is describing? I wonder if anyone else is seeing it. And push with their horns. And they then began to devour those bullocks, and behold, all the children of the earth began to tremble and to shake before them. So, going back to chapter 86. So what is happening here, or chapter 85, what is happening here? So this is painting a picture of Satan getting kicked out of heaven, him and his minions getting kicked out to the earth. They were kicked out to the 3D. Okay? They were kicked out into the 3D after deceiving Adam and Eve in the garden. And Adam and Eve were kicked out into the 3D and sent into a cave. That is the book of the Cave of Treasures, just FYI. And you can also read the second book of Adam and Eve, or Books of Adam and Eve. There's a lot to learn after Adam and Eve left the garden and their journey. They lived hundreds of years. There's a lot to learn. It's not all in the fucking Bible, people. Okay? Purposely removed. Verse 5 of 80. Ooh, is that where I am? Yes, verse 5 of 86. And all the bullocks feared them and were affrighted at them, and they commenced to bite them, devour them. Okay, so maybe I did finish that. Okay, so the last chapter we're going to read today is chapter 87. So let's go ahead and get going. And I saw again them as they began to horn each other and devour each other. And the earth began to cry aloud. So if you don't praise me, man, I created your ass. If you don't praise me, the rocks will cry out. So, that's what he's saying. Because the earth had to cry out. Because there was no one to worship. There was no one to thank Most High. There was no one to praise him, worship him, and thank him for all the beautiful things that he's doing. There was no one going in, getting insight, meditating. They were all running around fucking everything that they could. No different than what's going on in the world today. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Sounds very familiar. Confirmation. I just got a message on my phone. Or a news something real. So, chapter 87. And again, I saw them as they began, horns, crying out loud. And I, again, verse 2, raised my eyes to heaven and saw in the vision, and behold, there came from heaven those who were like white men. One came out from that place, and 3 with him. And those 3 who came out last took me by the hand and bore me away from the generations of the earth, and elevated me to a large place. So took Enoch out of the 3D, placed him in another dimension where he can see from above, as the Father sits above and looks down, okay, upon his creation. And elevated me to a large place, and showed me a tower. A tower. We are familiar with towers because that's part of the tarot. So we know towers are good. Towers bring about change. Towers are Mercury retrogrades. Towers are hurricanes. My right ear is buzzing like a mother. It is just like angels. It is just ringing. And that is what these cycles do. Both spiritual cycles and Mother Gaia cycles. That is what that, I mean, and I did a quotation. I didn't mean to do quotations. Mother Gaia is real. That's not a quote. But I was thinking of Mother Nature. People call it Mother Nature. It's Mother Gaia. But anyway, so that is what all of those cycles do. A hurricane, a tornado, a tsunami, a flood. We're talking about floods. So let's talk about floods. We know in Dubai, we know in that area of the world, we know what they're going through. They're going through massive floods. Flooding right now, right? With all that wealth, the abyss, the water, do you see how cycles? It doesn't change. It doesn't change. there is nothing new under the sun, Most High has told us. So if there's nothing new under the sun, that means whatever spiritual principles were in place in Yeshua's time when he walked this earth, those principles are in place today. Whatever spiritual principles were in place when Methuselah, Noah walked, Enoch walked, they're still in place. Whatever spiritual principles were in place when the Mayan people were here, when the Luminaria were here, if the Orisha ever been here, when Atlantis was above ground, principles, they're still the same. They're still the same. Treat people with unconditional love, forgive quickly, and yeah. Understand that you are looking at a human, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. Because of that, we cannot look at John Smith as John Smith when John Smith is doing witchcraft against us and misleading the people and taking their money in the pulpit, lying with them. I didn't mean to say that. Damn. Lying with them. I grew up with that, so it's just surprising that I actually said it. Okay, because that's not what I meant to say. I was going to say lying to them about, with money and all other lies. You need to come here every week because if you don't, you're going to die and go to hell because God don't like somebody who don't go to church. Woo, Most High is so much more patient than I am. Most High has so much more grace than I do. Let me tell you, he really, really does. Me in charge of everything? On this planet alone, there are other beings on other planets. On this planet alone, oh man, I don't know if there'd be 1 million people. We're 7 to 8 billion strong. I don't know if there'd be 1 million people on this planet if I were fully in charge. I don't think there would be. So, for most people's sake, good thing I'm not. Because I can tell you for a fact, as beautiful as I am, my love and my care, and it is something to behold. It is a gorgeous thing, and I'm not bragging. Every divine being who's ascended to their true self is this way. They know who they are. They know that they are beautiful. It's not bragging. It's not cocky. It's just a confidence from your solar plexus chakra. I don't walk around bragging and telling people who I am. Their inside self tells them who I am. If they know or recognize it, I don't tell people that stuff. Okay? I just bless them and carry on my merry way. In fact, last week, what's today? Saturday. It might have been this week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Maybe it was last week. I was walking down the sidewalk in a shopping plaza, and a gentleman came up to me, and he said, and I have these opportunities often, and he said, if I could get him something to eat. And I said, yeah. So of course, I said, I don't have any cash. I said, I can, we can walk. The store's right here. We can take a walk to the store. And he was willing to do that. And so we went to the store and, no. I went to the store because I needed to get cash back. That's what it was. So I needed to get cash back because I wanted to bless him. And so I did and went into the store. He even got a couple of things. I think he got something to drink or something like that. And yeah. So I was able to bless him. His name is Brian. So there are 2 Brians that I know today. There's a guy who we called Brian, or 2 of them we called Brian. That's not their legal name. The other gentleman I don't know him well. I know of him really. He had been to the Rock of Central Florida a couple of times. Tall, skinny guy. His name's Brian. He was part of the Scorpios church and ministry and all of that. So there's a chance that he's involved in all of this somehow, witchcraft, whatever's been going on. She told me that he liked her. I don't know if that's the person she ended up going with. When she didn't choose me, I have no idea, because, again, I'm healed and I've moved on. It's their responsibility to heal themselves. So, yeah. So, his name was Brian. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Nehru. This is The Encourager. We have just finished up another 5 or 6 books, or chapters, in the Book of Enoch. And again, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're getting something out of it. I know for sure I am. I am really, really enjoying and seeing how Most High had this extremely intricate, and has this extremely intricate, detailed down to the very last seed, morsel, millimeter, centimeter, decibel, whatever. He is, and it's even lower than that. I don't know all the minute measurements, micro measurements, but he does. And so that's why the details are not our responsibility here on this earth. The details are not our responsibility. If you're believing Most High for something, let's say you need another vehicle. You believe Most High for a vehicle, and I pick a vehicle because it's very natural. It's a very materialistic thing. You can't use a vehicle for anything other than on this 3D planet Earth. It's like money. Okay? So you need another car. Okay? So let's say you need a new vehicle, and you've made your petition known. I don't want to say prayer, because to me, prayer, you only need to ask once. And then the rest of the time you need to believe and manifest. Most High, I would like a new to me vehicle, because I'm needing one, as you can see. And then from there, okay, you might look around, look at some vehicles, get an idea of what you like. Excuse me. Whoa, confirmation. Woo. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. So, I need a new vehicle, that's for sure. And somebody else definitely needs, who's listening to this, they need a new vehicle. Who's ever listening to this? There's no way I got choked up like that just because I need a new, no, somebody who's listening to this, you need a new vehicle, so here you go. This is how you do this. Okay? So you say, Most High, as you can see, ancestors, universe, I need a new vehicle. Because of whatever reason, it doesn't matter. They don't care for the reason. A vehicle, I learned this. A car is for self-gratification. Most High does not care in the least bit. He couldn't care less. Don't say could care less. Couldn't care less. Could not care less. Stop saying could care less. Most High could not care less about the vehicle that you drive. He wants to make sure, he wants you to enjoy the technologies and things that he's downloaded to man, technologies for inventions and things. He wants you to enjoy those things. But, okay, your goal should not be to get the newest EV car, or the newest whatever, or they got this, I'm going to go get, that should not be it. Okay? So you take a look at a couple of cars, you find what you like, and then from there, it's manifesting, and however the resources come about to bring you that, that's the detail, and that's left up to Most High. Okay? That's it. And even, I would say, even to a degree, the vehicle may be left up to Most High. To a degree, it might be, even though he doesn't care, but he may see a need for something that you don't. So you may be thinking car, but he may know that you really need a truck because of some life change that's coming, some occupational change that's coming. So that could happen. Okay? So, anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. If you are that individual that's needing new transportation, again, go to the dealership, drive the car, get as close to actually being, already having that as possible. Again, through your manifestations, when you manifest, when you meditate, manifestations when you manifest. Manifestations and meditations, what you speak. Okay, so if you're wanting a new car, don't complain about the payment. If you're going to be making payments, if you're not paying cash, don't complain about a payment. Oh man, I don't want to. Man, I just paid this car. Don't do that. You're killing your dreams. You can't serve both man and God at the same time. You can't serve Trump and serve Ptah, my Lord. You can't do that. Period, point blank. Okay? So, right? And do the manifesting. Again, test drive it, go. Yeah, if you can do that. Go test drive it. I was trying to think of something else that you could do. You could call the dealership and ask about it, right? See which ones they have, the colors and all of that sort of thing. I'm going to tell you a story and then I'll go. I dated a woman who was a manifester. At some point, she lost her mojo. I'm not sure what happened. But when I met her, she was she was a spiritual badass. So, I remember we're out on a motorcycle one day, and this is many years ago. This is 20-something years ago. 20-something years ago. And we're on a motorcycle. We're out cruising around. And she was like, I think I want a car. I think I want a new vehicle. Like, okay, all right. And I was like, oh, what are you thinking about? And she was like, she called it an Isuzu Rodeo. That because she was just quirky like that. So she called it an Isuzu Rodeo. And she called it that all the time. That's what she called it. It was not a rodeo. Okay? But she wanted an Isuzu Rodeo. She wanted it to be like forest green, dark green. She wanted it to be a 4-wheel drive, to have a CD player and a cassette player. She said all of this. She verbalized all of this to me. One day. Okay. I'm like, you're asking for, I want to have a sunroof, and I'm like, you smoking something. You didn't find all that in one vehicle. I had already at this time probably had 25 cars of my own at this time. And I was approaching 30, and I had already had 20-something cars. And I'm like, that's nice. You know, I know you bad. I know, you God's girl. I got you. I know you are. Right? I know you are. Right? And that's what I used to call her, and that's what she would call herself. She called herself God's girl. Again, at some point, she lost the mojo. I think she got discouraged about things that were happening. But anyway, in her life. And so anyway, lo and behold, Lord and behold, we're riding down the street on a motorcycle one day, and she looks over at this used car dealership, and she says, there it is. And I'm on the motorcycle. I'm like, what? Looking around like, what is? There it is, my car. There's my Rodeo. I'm like, whatever. So we turn around. Right? And it was like a Sunday or something, or maybe it was after hours on a weekday or something. And anyway, no, it couldn't have been on a weekday because I was in the military. It had to be like a Saturday or a Sunday. But anyway, the dealership, this place was closed. Okay. And we got off the motorcycle, and it was like kind of like a short fence. So I actually hopped the fence. I shouldn't do that. I would not do that today, but I hopped the fence, and I looked in there, and I could not believe it. It was the color. It was 4-wheel drive. It had a sunroof. It had a cassette player. Because back then they still used cassette tapes 20-something years ago. It had a CD player, which was just starting to really be big. It had everything she wanted. Everything. And I'm like, wow, you bad. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa. I was like, did she just do that? Did she just manifest that exactly? And I was like, man. So, people, and she did exactly what I'm telling you. She said, I would like it to be this, 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 and this. And then she didn't stress about it. She just let it go. And just let it go. And it was probably a week, may have been 2 weeks. We're just going down the road and boom, there it is. She didn't worry about it, didn't stress about it. We didn't have internet back then. She didn't even go on internet, or at least, did we? We had phones, but they were like flip phone type thing. They did not have nothing like we have today. So anyway, and in fact, I think she didn't use it, but she still had one of the big brick phones, the mobile phones that was like in the case. and it was still operational. And so, yeah, that's what she did. So I call her my witness. Okay. And so she showed me, she was the first person that I met that I can recall who was a spiritual badass. She's the first one. Everybody else that I've met up to that point were religious, maybe outside of one other individual, but I didn't spend enough time with. I went to war with him, literal war, military, but I didn't spend enough time with him outside of the military to really know how deep and how amazing his intuition, manifesting, and all of that was. I don't know. But yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, my name's Nehru. This is The Encourager. And as always, stay encouraged.